Well, hello, everybody. Been a few changes around here. I just want to get you caught up real quick before we get into today's project. Last time we got together, I built a chicken farm way at the top of our wall here, and up here is where all of the farms are going to end up being. This is the first one we built. And I noticed a couple of things. One of them was I was finding cooked chicken on the ground, which is not great. And so I ran up there and I saw that all of the cooked chicken wasn't making it into the hopper. So here in the testing world, I was experiencing a similar thing where every once in a while there would be a piece of cooked chicken outside of the farm. And so what I did is instead of just having one hopper under the cauldron, I also put hoppers here and here. I put them on this side, here and here, and I put a hopper directly under where the baby chickens are. So there's 6 hoppers here. So no matter where the cooked chicken lands, should get picked up and put in the chest. And you can see up at the top there, I did add in more hoppers and we're consistently getting more chicken now. But doing a little bit of planning here in the test world. Right now, the materials we have are spruce, oak, and jungle wood. And I think I want to try and use all 3 in a combination sort of like this. So this is kind of what the ready room will look like, mixing the spruce, the oak, and the jungle wood on the walls and on the floors. And then as we move into the storage area itself, I think I want it to look real industrial, so we'll use smooth stone for the actual storage system. And then the floor, I think I want it to be a combination of tough and regular stone. And then the deep slate might just kind of bleed into the edges a little bit. And I think that'll be a real kind of cool industrial sort of look. And you can see here in the ready room, I've started sketching things out. I think this is where we're going to transition from kind of a balcony to an indoor area. We're doing that mix of jungle and spruce and oak. This is something I'm just trying out to kind of frame the chicken collection here, and we'll do something on the opposite side to mirror that, where we will drop off all of our items. I want to be able to put all of our items in a chest here and have them sorted through our storage system. But one thing at a time. I've noticed a couple of things. One is, you might remember we ran over to the jungle and I was lamenting that I didn't bring shears with me. Well, it turns out when you grow a jungle tree, you get the vines as well, so all good there. Other thing, I've kind of reached as high as I can go. We want to transition from deep slate into regular stone, and the next levels, the thing I need is regular deep slate. But to get regular deep slate, I need silk touch, and I don't have any silk touch. I don't really have any access to any enchantments unless we pull a book out of the ocean with a fishing rod. And so that kind of brings us to what we're going to do today. One thing is I want to think about where we're going to build our actual base. You might recall previously where I had mentioned this is just going to be our storage area. This is all going to be storage and farms. And somewhere over here, I want to actually build a base. And in our base, we'll have things like our trophy room and our library, and it's raining. I'd also mentioned I want to do something with our portal. Right now, we just have a portal sitting out in the middle of nowhere, and when we walk through it, we end up coming out of a portal kind of in the middle of nowhere. I kind of want to figure out what level we're going to put our portal at in the Nether, and then start to formalize things a little bit. And on the topic of enchantments, I think I also want to get our villagers out of this little box here. In this area, I want to have some big buildings like our base and this tower that's going to have all our farms and our storage. But I'm thinking at the base of the towers, it might be cool to just build a village, and we could have our villagers down there so we could trade with them. I don't have all the materials to do what I want to do yet, but at least we could get them out of the box and maybe start trading with them. Depending on how long that all takes, we might also do a little exploration. To start off today, I think I want to make a temporary little base area over here for us to hang out in. I want our base to be made out of different materials than the tower for our storage here, and I just don't have any of those materials yet. And to kind of show you with free cam here, our tower is here. And I want our base to ultimately be kind of nestled in this corner over here. So we'll get rid of all of this. We'll do some lighting up in this cave here. And I might kind of shave this little section off so that we can just nuzzle up into the corner of this mountain range here and build our base there. Our storage area is a big round tower. I think I want our base to be much more angular, real boxy, just to contrast it a little bit. Still some areas I need to light up over here, and a lot of cleanup that needs to happen. Just going to make a little bit of room here. One day I'll have a shovel. Well, it's not pretty, but it is functional, and this will be a nice place to work from while we build our actual base. One thing I'm definitely going to need is a bed, and I also need a bunch of beds for our new villagers, so we need to get some sheep. See if I can just use some wheat to lure a few sheep over. Here we go. Okay, we got sheep. And now we have a bed. And now that we've got a little starter base, let's turn our attention to the villagers. I'm just going to clear a bit of space, and then we'll build a real rudimentary wall so we have a safe place for our villagers. Okay, I broke down and made a shovel. Well, much like our starter base, this is not pretty, but it is functional. I put a lightning rod out here so we don't get any villagers turning into witches. And then I have like a little bit of an airlock here so I don't get any villagers sneaking out. And in here, we're just gonna get some workstations and some beds going and get more villagers. And then as I get more materials, we can start to transform this into an actual village. Again, I want to use different materials for our storage tower and for our base and for the village. So next step is let's get the villagers out of here. I'm just going to build a little stairway, and then I'm going to shear some of our sheep and start making some beds. I'm going to put 3 workstations in here. I'm going to put a composter, I'm going to put a lectern, and I'm going to put a cartography table. Nope. Very excited to take a job. Cool. I don't really have any emeralds, and so we'll need to come up with like a pumpkin and melon farm so we can trade with our farmer. And then I'm hoping that we can start to get enchantments out of some of our villagers, maybe get some maps out of the cartographer so we can find things like a trial chamber. I think that'd be super cool. So we've got some sheep, we've got some cows, we've got some pumpkins, we've got some villagers, we've got a starter base. Next thing I want to turn my attention to the Nether, but before we do, I just want to take a moment to thank all the supporters of the channel. And if you want to be like these folks, you can help support the channel by scanning the code on the screen or clicking join down below. So the thing I want to do in the Nether, I don't think I have all of the materials to do it, but I think we can get a pretty good start today, and I want to share with you my plans. So what I'm thinking is, here in the overworld, I want there to be this weird alien-looking structure. And then when we go through the portal, I want it to be exactly the same alien-looking structure, but kind of the reverse. The other thing I want to do, when we go through the Nether, you'll see, we are currently sitting, I think, up at 83 blocks of elevation. I'd like to go down to closer to 64. So we're about halfway up and down in the Nether. So what we're going to do is we're going to gather a lot of materials, and then we're going to move this portal down about 20 blocks. One of the materials I'm going to need is nether brick. Okay, what we're looking for is 107, -13. So I need to go a little bit in that direction and a little bit in that direction, and then we definitely need to go down a bit. Okay, this is where we want to be. 107, -13, an elevation of 64. So I'm going to grab my diamond pick, and I'm going to move that portal down here. Okay, and then we are facing west, so I want to make sure that we are facing west in the overworld as well. So we're going to grab our diamond pick and move our portal down here. What is going on? Oh, it takes so long to break the obsidian. So apparently the piglins don't like wither skeletons, and that's what happened there with all those arrows. Is there was a wither skeleton and the piglins weren't having it. Okay, we're gonna put portal here. Boop, 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 boop. Next order of business is we need to get some crimson stuff and some warped stuff. So there's some warped stuff right out here. Typically, the warped stuff is easier to get than the crimson stuff, because the crimson forests have all of the hoglins and everything running around. Apparently, I can't get nylium unless I've got silk touch. I will take that. We've got a good start on the warped stuff. Now we need to find some crimson stuff. We've got a start on materials. I've got a fair amount of nether bricks. I've got some warp stems. I've got some crimson stems. I've got some wart and warped blocks. I need more quartz, and I can't get nylium until we have silk touch. But I think we can get a start on what I want to do here. Well, that turned out all right. So we now have a big ol' netherrack sphere. And because we don't have elytra yet, we can't fly into the front of it. We still have to just walk up this staircase like a noob. That is the inside. Very red, very crimson. And I think it looks really, really cool. I have a thing over here. I realized I carry a lot of stuff around with me. I always carry warped fungus, and when I go in the nether, I always have it on hand in case hoglins come and I can just put it down and they stop hassling you. I always carry a fire resistance potion as well, but I only ever use those things in the nether. Similarly, I always carry a bucket of water, but I never need a bucket of water when I'm in the nether because it doesn't do anything. And now with the shelf block, if it's powered, I can change the last 3 spots of my inventory just by clicking it. So if I go in the nether, I can click that, bring my fire resistance and my warped fungus. I can click it again, switch back. I might get a different bow for the Nether. You know, like I don't need flame in the Nether because it doesn't really do much of anything. And it's annoying when you run out of arrows. So I might make an infinity bow to take in the Nether and then a mending bow for the overworld. We'll figure that out. And then we have the portal in the middle here. And so what happens when we walk into the Nether is you'll notice everything is red and Nether brick. And then once you go to the Nether, it switches to warped and quartz. So it's a mirror image of the overworld. This just goes off to the Nether fortress. And this side I haven't quite finished yet. I still need more materials. But I really like this, how it is kind of a flip from the overworld. So again, if we are here with all the warped and quartz, and then we go back to the overworld, it flips back to this crimson nether brick situation. I think it's really cool. I do want to get some nylium in here, but yeah, I need to get silk touch first. I'm going to be going out of town for a little bit, so the next episode is going to be a quick one. I think we're going to focus on building some farms so we can make more progress with our villagers. And after that, we will continue working on this. We'll continue exploring the Nether, more farms, hopefully more enchantments, and it's going to be great. I'll see you then.